ProNo show.
Five.
Five, yes.
Five?
Cinco for our Spanish-speaking friends.
We don't have those.
Today's topic is we're going to have pros versus noobs. It's about creating a even playing field across all skill levels in competitive online gaming. We have Joe
Or
over
not
here.
if pro wins.
Joe over here, he's representing pros, and we have Neil representing noobs.
Nublets.
So, just to give you an overview on how to vote, you're going to hit it's actually displayed over the
Boom.
over their respective
On the
teams,
top.
I would say.
That's what you type.
So yeah, just type that down to vote for them. So we're gonna start with opening statements. I'm gonna go with Neil this time because I skipped you last time.
No, it's start with Joe.
Oh, okay, go
and then
fine.
I'm loading the stream.
Well,
Jeez.
we will go with Joe
We're gonna
this
start
time.
flipping a coin for this.
He's a prima
That's what we should
donna.
do.
This guy's a prima donna.
No,
And,
I want to make sure this was up and running first so I can see the chat.
That's what I'm trying to do right now. I can
Unfortunately.
multitask.
all right, Joe, you're up.
So, I guess let me furthermore put the premise of. Okay, let me turn my fucking tablet down.
You should switch seats. No.
So, really, what this I feel like this boils down to is whose responsibility does it fall on to basically guide new players in like new games. This guy would argue that responsibility falls onto the developers for the most part.
I would.
And me, I don't really think that the majority of it should really fall onto the player, to the developers. And the reason being is because in most competitive games, they generate an environment where there's more than enough material for you to learn.
Sorry, I got tired. I fell asleep reading.
I understand, but that's the thing. If you want to be good at the game, then that issue of maybe going through a lot of content, and if you're not dedicated to the point where you want to do that or you can do that, then you're not going to be good at the game. So I mean, if you don't care enough to like sit down and do the research and find out how to make yourself play and be better at a competitive game, then don't play the competitive game. This is not a game for you.
All right, Neil, what do you have to say about that?
Okay, we live in a world now where games are not only on your home console anymore, they're out in the clouds. I mean, you're playing against people from all over the entire world, and unfortunately, people from all over the entire world don't respect you like your friend sitting on the couch. They're not going to help you. They're there to hinder you. They're there to be your enemy in every aspect of the game. And relying on players to help players isn't going to happen.
But
Relying on a player to help themselves isn't always going to happen, because you can read an instruction manual 50,000 times. You can read a strategy guide 50,000 times, but you know what? It's not enough to get yourself to the level to compete with a lot of these people online who've actually got the experience. At the end of time, experience counts more than anything in life. So my argument is that the developers should take more responsibility in controlling their own community, A, to create a better balanced playing area, and B, to bring more people into their respective products.
And you're talking about specifically certain games, correct?
I'm speaking mostly for the MOBAs, but I mean, it boils down to, I mean, this topic in general really only applies to competitive, almost, MLG style games for the most part.
Cool. Well, let's preface this before we start going in deep with this show is probably going to be a little shorter than most of the rest of them. We have
Maybe.
less talking points about this, so we'll see what happens. The first point we're going to look at is what the player's responsibility, the individual player's responsibility is. So we're going to go back to you, Joe.
Okay. As a new player into anything, I'm going to use MOBAs mostly because that's really the big driving point right now in esports. Not saying that, well, that probably change once Halo comes out, but right now, MOBAs are pretty much.
I don't think you got like Destiny and some stuff like that on the consoles.
But, I mean, Destiny isn't really
Destiny
pulling.
isn't-
And fighting games are MLG.
That's true. Fighting games always are up there, though. That's
Yeah.
true. They're kind of like their own category of their own. But like as a player, same thing with like baseball, any sport. If you want to be the best at a thing, you have to do some work. Like they're not gonna like spoon feed you how to be the best player. Like, and even if they did, even if they said, okay,
That's what coaches are for.
okay, well, there's no coaches in these games. Are you going to hire a coach?
No, but what I'm saying is though you can't really make a comparison to real life sports because real life sports you get brought up into it. You start at the beginner level and you work your way up.
Okay.
And you have coaches to help you along the way.
Not along the entire way. You don't have a coach from the time that you pick up a bat that you want to play baseball.
Yeah, your father would generally be that coach or your friends.
And so what happens if you don't have a coach? You're just not going to be good, right?
No, when you get to the level where you start playing competitively, you're going to have a coach.
Well, what I'm saying is, A, for the time frame between you not having a coach, and B, if you don't have a coach available to you and you still want to be better, what do you do in those sports? Are you just screwed?
No, because every single environment has coaches. From little league to elementary school, to middle school, to high school, to college, to professional, every level of professional athletic sports has coaches. Even individual sports have coaches.
And I know, I personally used to play golf when I was in high school. I was pretty good at it. And we did have a coach. What I'm saying is there was times where I practiced on my own without my coach.
That's perfectly fine, but how did you learn how to play?
Well, a coach showed me. Someone showed me. What I am saying is this. That coach doesn't always have to be a person.
There's infinite resources online or in the world that can tell you how to play golf. How can you then consult any of them? Did you read every golf instruction manual?
I did, though.
And how well did that do for you?
It did good. I learned things from that. What
did your coach have to say?
He probably just reinforced that. What I'm saying is you don't have to rely on a single source or a single person or a single entity to get you better. If you want to be good, do some work.
That's perfectly true, but every single sport since the dawn of time has realized the need for people on the professional level to nurture and bring up the people on the lower level.
Okay.
The esports is the only sporting environment that's ever existed where the professional level beats down, berates, and holds back the entry level.
All right. Well, I would like for
But
you...
that depends on the person.
Elaborate. Why do you put it on camera, God?
Well, I'm just saying, it depends on the person who berates and degrades people whenever they're bad players at League of Legends or whatever the hell.
Unfortunately, a majority of the players on there are the people who berate you.
Well,
that's
you
fine,
say
but
that.
you can't blame a developer for people being
No,
assholes.
we're talking about the individual player right now.
Yeah.
But here's what I was getting to. You have the players in game who will talk shit and all that stuff. Not condoning that. I don't think that that's necessarily something that should happen. But there's so many websites now devoted. I'm just going to use Smite. I'm just going to use Smite for instance.
Unfortunately, reading something has nothing to do with the acclimatization.
It's not just reading. There's videos tutorials. There's streamers who
I've
stream.
never learned
There's a lot of
anything from
resources.
watching somebody
There are
do something.
so many resources for people to learn. I even have been thinking about doing that too. Is having a night where I devote to just showing people how to play different gods in Smite. And there's Smite Fire. There's Hi-Rez. They have their own forums. There's Reddit. There are so many resources for a new player. When I first started playing Ymir, nobody sat down next to me and was like, "Hey, this is how you play Ymir. You build this item." No, I went online. I was like, "All right, let's look at some builds." So I looked at the builds. I was like, "Okay, I see where they're going with this, but I want to do this. I want to tweak this a little bit."
I agree. There's lots of information online to teach you how to put together the tree of items and stuff like that, the equipment trees,
and even down to the techniques, knowing when to freeze a person, where to be once you've frozen them, what skill to drop, when to drop his wall, all those things I learned from watching other people do it.
I've seen a lot of resources in the fighting community. Street Fighter 4 came out, tons of videos came up. How to do combos and different things like that, and I watch them.
But at the same time, there's a long period of time between when you watching something and you learning how to properly implement that and actually time that perfectly yourself, where you're going to be under a lot of stress and pressure from the other players to get it done.
It also boils down to the type of learning that you do.
Well, let me ask
if
you
you're
this.
visual or not.
And I love this question because it helps me understand where you're trying to come from. In your perfect world, what would you prefer for the player to see, or how would you want them to develop?
How would I want them to develop? I personally think that much like a lot of other games, there should be a difficulty level when you start a game. When you go to we'll just use League of Legends for example. Okay. When you go into a game and you're searching for a game to play, there should be where you do that should be beginner, intermediate, and expert. And it should be known that the people who are in the beginner are usually expected to be between levels 1 and 10. That's where you want to be when you're learning that area. Now, if you're a level 30 and you decide to go there, it's your responsibility to understand you're in that beginner area, and if you're being a dick in that area, you probably should get in trouble, for being a dick in that area. But as a player, I know if I'm a level 2 and I'm learning to play the game, even if I got my friend who's a level 30, we can both go into that level 1 to 10 area, the beginner area, and learn how to play the game, usually against people of the same skill level, or at least people who are expecting people of that skill level, so I can learn how to do the timings right, and I can learn how to acclimate. And then once I level myself up or feel more comfortable, then let me intermingle in intermediate. And if I get good enough at that, maybe that's when I want to go to that advanced level where I'm actually, the Wild West and everything runs rampant.
Well, let me ask you. I can tell you right now a possible flaw in that. This is not a big one anyway, but having the ability to go back, like having me as a higher level player and having a friend that I invited to play in the game, having the ability for me as a higher player to go back and play with those players, it's a bad idea.
No, not necessarily, because then you say you're my friend, you're the one bringing me into League of Legends.
Right.
Okay. You could then go into the beginner levels with me and teach me how to play. Now, the way you stop people from going in there just to do that is you make the experience points worth less and the reward for winning a game in that worth less to someone of a higher level.
I would like to introduce you to trolls.
That's
because
fine.
They will destroy. They don't give a shit about experience. They're literally going there to just bother people. Now, what I
would say that's an argument for him, though.
Well, what I'm saying is, if the whole point is, if there are trolls, if you're gonna make a world where,
but that's where the community could then go. If we were all playing a game, there's all 4 of us playing a game, and there's one guy who jumps in and he's trolling and being an abusive player, we can then report him, and then he can get punished by the developer for doing that.
But I mean, those things are already in place.
But they're not really. I mean, it's
they're in as much place as they really can be.
No, because if you interject and put in those levels, and then you have a higher level player going in there and trolling people, he's going in there for no other reason than to just mess with people of that level.
He could be a person who does normally teach people, but now he's in there, and this one instance,
he should know better.
He's in a troll state of mind.
Yes, a troll.
It's a full moon, and he can't contain himself. He's got a troll.
And he should know better, and he should be suspended for a little while.
Well, I mean, that goes into the next talking point, in which is the community's responsibility and self-governing. I would say, as far as community.
And then that's another big thing.
I'll take the start on that one, because a lot of companies now, I know, especially Smite, and I'm going to talk a lot about high res, but
because you live the high res life.
Yeah, I do. They have a not just report this player. It's more so of report this player, rate them, what exactly do they do? Here's a description box to explain it. Like they don't just kind of like, all right, this person was bad, I hit a button. Like it's more to the detail. And the reason why that's the case is because, say for instance, somebody sucks.
Oh, I know why this is the case. Yeah.
Say for instance, somebody sucks. They are just trash. They are bad. And they cost you to lose the game because it's a team sport.
Everybody reports them.
Everybody reports this guy. Nothing happens to that guy. That is okay, because there's nothing wrong with that. Like what he did, he didn't know any better. The guy's level 10.
And I will tell you, my first experience ever playing League of Legends, I jumped in there with no friends, with nobody, and I started trying to learn how to play the game. And I even told the guys, hey guys, I'm learning. I don't know what I'm doing. And the entire game, all I dealt with was people going, fuck this guy, report him, get him banned, get him out of here.
But I guarantee you nothing happened to you. Because when those reports come to those companies, they see that, they look at what the report log for the game. They're like, "Oh, well, these people are whining at this person."
At the same time, though, they use the ability to report, and they spam that in there as a way to abuse and get rid of that player.
I feel like they use it more so.
It's a bully tactic.
It's a bully tactic. I'll give you that. And like I said before, I'm not endorsing that by any means.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm all for bullying when it's creative. when it actually solves, has a purpose.
Bullying with purpose.
Well, there is bullying with purpose.
I have like a teacher that's like bullying.
Yeah.
No. Like, I mean, all humans learn from pain. We're just like every other animal. You stick your hand on the stove, you learn, shit, I don't need to stick my hand on the damn stove. So, you do something stupid and it gets you bullied, or you're just getting bullied for no reason. You learn, you evolve as a human being because of that.
Well, you could argue that is what's going on right now already.
No, not at all.
Well, here's what I'm getting at is, those players saying things like that, that's bad. We can all agree on that. That's not that, but I don't feel like that's the issue. The issue here is, as a company, should Hi-Rez or Riot...
We're not into devs yet.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. You're right. Well, we're talking about the community.
Yes.
So, what would you prefer for those people?
Are
to
there what
do?
resources are there for
The community?
for the community?
Honestly, this is kind of dabbling in both. The developers do have things in place so that the people who are playing with these people,
But there's nothing that they've made themselves.
Yeah, there's nothing in the programming.
not
of the
really.
games
No.
themselves.
The community, the reason that that's really the case is most of the community has spent time in doing the latter what we were talking about before. They've made these places for people.
Thanks
to
for the
go.
vote, Ice.
Nice, thanks. Well, I don't know why I'm thanking you. Screw you. But most of the people that the community, they've made a world where people can go learn about the game, not so much a judge hammer of the game. Although I have heard of a game doing that. What were we trying to do?
Refresh the graph.
You see in the graph where it says,
gotcha.
yeah,
Yep,
there you go.
got it.
Boom. All right. But they spend a lot of time making strands in terms of you're like, how did you mess it up that bad?
No,
Anyway,
I am not familiar with how that happened. Because those buttons are nowhere near where I was hitting.
I guess. But I feel like they've spent more time in helping you get better at the game, not so much of having
Every politician gets to vote for themselves.
having a judicial system in place to ban players from the community.
And I'm not saying that the community
remember what game that was,
should
though.
jump into it in that extent. I honestly think that the community should take into account this and have, say, a list of players that are known aggressive players. That if you're a new player in a game with them, you should probably leave the game, or even better, have a board that you can go and sign up for as a noob, as someone who wants to learn how to play, where they can actually, just like in a lot of sports, where you can sign up and get like a tutor more or less. So if I don't have a Joe who plays Smite every day of the week who can teach me the ins and outs, I can go on there and sign up and say, hey guys, I'm trying to learn to play, and have 2 or 3 good level players jump in there.
That'd be
But
awesome.
there are
if
forums for that.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are places like that. They exist already. They are
you
there.
just have to look for them.
But that should be something that's more in your
Accessible?
face, more accessible. Exactly.
But it is.
But as a new player, you're not gonna want to dive through 15,000 message boards until you find the right one.
Here's my question.
You need to be steered in the right direction. Of the
if you as a
resources
player,
need.
I'm going to go to Google right now, and I'm going to be a new
Right now.
I'm going to be a new Smite player, and I'm going to be like, I want to know.
See, that's not fair because you're not a new Smite player. I'm gonna go to Google right now. 'Cause
okay. You go. To
I don't
Google
know. I
right
don't know
now.
a damn thing.
That works. You type in what a new Smite player would type in if they want to
So
learn how to play
I would
Loki.
turn in Smite
Okay.
because that's what a new player would type
It'd be
in.
Smite
What did
how
you
to
type in?
play.
Smite.
You just typed in Smite.
Yep. 'cause
That is a retard.
That's like
that is
Okay.
not.
is not-
to be fair. That's like saying like I want to learn how to make a pie. And I just put pie.
How to play Smite.
There you go.
Sure, that's even acceptable.
See, I personally think that's the same thing as typing Smite to me. How to play Smite. Oh, look, there's
it'll
a
give you different
6-minute YouTube video. Here's a 30-minute YouTube video. I already knew there was going to be lots of starters guides and all that stuff, but nowhere on any of this is there anything where guides. It's all just guides.
Those are guides.
I know, but there's nothing on here to help.
Let
What
me
do you
ask you.
want them to say here?
What do you
Fight
want?
Connor
What do you
level
want?
30?
What is it that
I
you wanted?
clearly outlined what I wanted 2 minutes ago, and you guys both were like, "It's already fucking there. You just don't know how to find it." Obviously, I don't.
What I'm saying.
You want a community where somebody will
I want
mentor somebody.
I
and
want
hold
there to
their
be a
hand.
message board where I can go in there and just be like, it's Smite Beginner Training Center or something dumb like that, where I could go in there and just say,
up,
"Hey, I
Mark?
want to learn how to play," and like 2 randoms will be like, "Yo, we got your back, man. Let's jump in. Here's our gamer tags. Friend us. Jump in this game with us. We'll teach you what you need to know." And they can also be there to help ward off the trolls.
I'm gonna switch.
Ward
Go
off.
to. Say what?
I said, ward off.
Ward off.
Ward off.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Jesus Christ. I try too hard.
You do. I'm gonna go to Brawlhalla because that game's really new.
And awesome.
And did you play
I
it?
saw it.
You saw
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You saw it. The first time I streamed that game, a big prominent player in the genre of that game that's been out since while it's in beta, he not only hosted my channel, he rated my channel with all of his viewers. He came in there, saw that I was a scrub, and was like, "Guys, let's." Teach
I watched that.
Yeah, guys, let's teach this guy how to play.
That's awesome.
That's like it. It's not. You can say that yes, maybe the
more. This is for the point of the debate. This is not actual real life.
Or it's like, oh my god, things are gonna go down. No. But I feel as though you can say I'll give you the point to.
But
maybe
that guy happened upon you, and you're also talking about a game that doesn't have a gigantic like.
I mean, the game's already had 2 tournaments, 2 big tournaments.
Well, I understand, but I mean, for the most part, there isn't a billion streams out there. I mean, it's easy for that guy to have happened upon you.
I mean, sure, but I mean, that's the same thing if I was like playing.
Oh, I guarantee you, if you jumped on League as a noob and started streaming it for whatever reason because you decided you wanted to stream it.
It's way too saturated.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
There's no way some random pro would find your stream and be like, I'm going to help you out, buddy.
But it's not,
I'm going to put you on my back and carry you to the promised land.
It's not about whether it's hard for them to do it. It's the fact that there are people that do that. That thing exists.
That was a purposeful freak out. Dramatic effect.
They can do that, bro.
He does that from time to time.
It does. But yeah, I mean, it's
I'm
the
an
fact
artiste.
that and I'm talking about some random person that I was just playing with. This is a huge name guy. There's Berserker Expo.
I understand, but what I'm saying is though, like the chances of that happening in another environment are slim to none.
I would say that yes, the chances are lower because there are more people. But that doesn't mean that those people don't exist. And those people are still a resource. That guy streams almost every night. And all he does is teach
And
people.
then here's the problem where then it comes onto the dev. Because right now, if we were both to jump into League of Legends. Now, League of Legends does have a leveling system where it goes, okay, you're a level 1, we should try to pair you up with lower players.
Right.
But if you're in there trying to help me learn how to play as my friend, and you're a level 30, it's going to go, there's a level 30 in the room. And then it's going to ODST some level 30s in there.
All right.
Higher level
so
players.
now we go into the developer's responsibility.
Exactly. And this is where I personally feel more of the responsibility needs
Of course,
to be shouldered.
that's why I left it.
I mean, they're the ones
last
making
one.
the money off the game. I mean, granted, MOBAs for the most part are free to play. I mean, they just get your money out of you with skins and, more characters and things like that. So, I mean, I could understand them not caring to put the man hours in to really make it as in-depth as it could be. But there are plenty of games where you're physically paying for the game, like Destiny and Call of Duty and things like that, like console games, or even, regular PC games of the same nature. That you're literally paying for a copy of this game, and by paying for this copy of the game, I'm getting destroyed. Like, I was going on Steam the other day to look for a game to start playing on the stream, and I was going into this game that sounded really cool. I can't remember the name of it right now. It was some medieval game that was kind of like a hack cross between an RPG and Minecraft, and every review of the game was just like, the community here sucks, the players suck, everybody hates on you, everybody wants to kill you, like... As a
Isn't
player
that
trying
every?
But like literally,
community?
one guy's review was, "Start the game, get killed. Chop down a tree, get killed. Gather
love those
wood,
reviews
get
like that,
killed.
by the way.
Start a
They're the
fire,
best.
get killed." Yeah, he's like, finally got to build my house, got killed, house got destroyed.
Yeah,
Like
baby steps.
but but the point is that developer, and granted that game's an alpha, has taken zero precautions to try to protect people who actually want to enjoy the game.
Well, yes and no. That they probably will make it less of that, but I guarantee you that is a part of their process. They want people to be able to wreck somebody else's house. That is a part of the game.
The danger.
I understand,
yeah.
but I mean, it's just like in Minecraft. There's difficulty levels that you can select that let you as a player figure out what you would like to enjoy. Because if I want to enjoy the game and I just want to build stuff and I don't want to be bothered, that should be something I can select.
And yeah,
that's
a bad example because it's an alpha, and I get that.
Yeah, but I mean, even in games as old as time, and back in the day when you actually had to pay for your subscriptions, the developer took more responsibility. Like, you could go onto a no PvP server where the players weren't allowed to screw with you.
And who knows? They may do that with that game.
I think that these games are that the genre of a MOBA is still very much in its infancy stage as far as
compared
like coming
to
up.
Like fighting games.
Exactly, that's
absolutely.
what I'm talking about. Like,
and if you look at
or
fighting games,
first-person shooters.
holy shit, everyone is helpful. Almost
And the thing is, it's built into the games.
right.
Yeah,
Like
the
the
developer,
tutorials,
Right.
the
Yeah.
frame data, all that stuff is
the
available
developer
now.
does the fighting games are great. The developer takes care of you and gives you a platform to learn.
But it took them a long time to do that, though.
and
no,
it
even
wasn't
Street
right
Fighter
off the
2
bat.
had a training mode.
But here's the thing, and while I'll give you that is a semi half point, because even though it took them a long time to do that, as a mobile team, that still exists. So they, as a company or as any developer for a mobile game, they can see that. All right, this works, and then do that for MOBAs. So even though they're
Yeah.
still young, they can still learn from the fact.
I
that-
agree. I
but-
think it should be a faster.
But here's what I'm
Adoption.
getting at. Here's what I'm getting at here is, yeah, if I put in, say, Smash Brothers right now, big competitive scene for that
Yep.
game. It has a tutorial, has
Yep.
a single player mode
and
Yeah.
training.
and training.
Yep.
I will get my ass kicked if I go into a tournament.
But you know what?
Absolutely,
When
hands
me, and you,
down.
when me and you went to that tournament down the road from your house, the first one we filmed,
Uh-huh.
after I got my ass handed to me, the guy who played that Luigi came up to me, and we started going back and forth and helping each
Right.
other with some things.
But see, at that point, the developer has done everything they can to teach
I
you.
understand, and those are great. Like
At
Smash Brothers is a
that
great
point.
example.
That's a
Smash
very
is a
specific
great
point,
example
though. But-
of how the developer did everything in their power to better help the player.
So let me ask you this: how much better would it have been if instead of going through all of that, you just had that Luigi player there and he taught you? Like he went through all the stuff that the developer did, and you learned from that, and then you just went to the tournament. Do you think you would have done better, or do you think you would have done the same?
Probably about the same.
I, for one, think you would have done better. And the reason for that is the amount of knowledge that you can get from a single player, just one player, I'm not even talking about going to a bunch of different
Is
sources,
limited.
is insane. It's a lot bigger than the developer can teach you in terms of like advanced stuff. Because we're talking about competitive games here.
I understand.
Anybody can. You can go watch read a book and learn
this is
the
again
basics.
where fighting games are a great example of the good way, but also don't really live in a shallow world of their own.
But it's not a shallow world though. All the developers can do that, and all
Well, I
developers do that.
No, they don't.
Are you kidding? There's a tutorial in League of Legends. There's a tutorial in Smite.
Yes,
There's,
but the tutorial mode teaches you how to operate the game.
that's all that those things teach you in the fighting games.
No,
What?
no. What are you talking about? In Smash, if you go in that training mode in Smash, they will teach you the keystrokes to get, or in Street Fighter, you can literally select a combo and it will show you what the combo looks like. It'll show you the frames. It'll show you the button presses and how you want to hit the buttons. It'll walk you through
It
doing
shows you all the fundamentals.
If you
Strategy
wanna
is
pick- if
something you
wanna
have to
a
learn
combo,
yourself, though.
It will teach you every step of hitting the combo.
Here's the thing, though. Like, the combo in a fighting game is the equivalent to a skill in a MOBA. It is a tool that you use to win. The fighting game's tutorial teaches you the tool. In this game, it's a combo. In a MOBA, it's a button that you hit once to do something. You can't
I think you're missing. A combo is more than just that. You're talking like a special ability, like Sub-Zero's Ice Freeze.
No.
That is your.
No. I know exactly what you're talking about, because the thing is, in a MOBA, the combos don't come.
I don't think
from-
you could really translate a fighting game combo to a MOBA.
I think in the terms of a tutorial, yeah, I think you really can, because the tutorial in Smite will teach you how to walk. It will teach you. I'm getting to that. It will teach you like what are the abilities do for this certain god.
It teaches you how to operate the game. Not
It
play
does. Well, no, that's teaching you how to play the game. Like, both a fighting games tutorial and a mobile games tutorial teaches you how to play the game. Like, that's it.
No. A MOBA's tutorial teaches you how to operate the game. Operating and playing are two different things.
Please explain to me why that's two different
Yeah,
things.
I'm intrigued now.
Okay, listen. Operating a game is.
I'm sorry if I've
just,
ignored the chat like this.
Yeah, sorry about that, Morwick. But operating the game is literally just knowing what the buttons do and knowing how basic functions operate. In a fighting game, that would be knowing that B is the high punch,
Take care, Morwick.
X is the low kick, forward,
Don't kick
what
X.
every button specifically does.
Yes.
That's how to operate the game. That's not how to play the game.
Okay.
Because playing the game takes a lot more than just the basic operations.
Well, then the fighting tutorials do the same thing. Then
No, they teach you how to play the game, because they teach you how to combine all that into combos, and then you can even change the difficulty level of what you're playing against, so you can learn how to use those combos in the real life situations better.
so are the components of these two genres 1-to-1?
That's what I was saying earlier. Like fighting games are kind of in
That's-
their own bubble because it's hard to translate what they've done as far as their training levels into another.
Well, I mean,
Let me-
first-person
let me-
shooters also.
Let me ask you then this. I was going to get to that too. Let me ask you.
Project Cars.
I am not a big racing fan. I know what that game is. I know like that it exists. But I will say that I'm not a really big authority on that game. But what I was getting at is, would you prefer, like, say in a MOBA, we can use League of Legends, that they teach you should use this skill, then this skill, then this skill, like is in a combo? Like, would that be?
That would be like if in the tutorial, like they literally, because the tutorial for League is kind of weird.
Granted, it's been a really long time since I've seen
Yeah,
the tutorial.
me as well. But
I
I remember it just taught you is like if you hit the Q button, he does this move.
Yeah.
That all it did was just like it did this
I
move.
have seen Smites evolve over time, and because I remember when I first started playing the game, I made a Smurf account for it, and then on the Xbox One, I played the new tutorial for it as well. In that tutorial, they do a good job of saying, "Hey, this is what this skill does. You can use this skill and then follow it up with this."
Because there's no tutorial in the world that teaches me that Tryndamere Spin can escape a battle by going through trees.
What?
Like an in-game tutorial.
Okay, well, what does the description say?
The description just says that it spins.
Does it say that he moves through objects? Like in the full description of his ability, does it say that?
Like
I know that
on the button.
No,
If you
not
hit the button,
not
it
in the
won't.
button. I'm talking about like when you look at the character and his skills, because I know in Smite it gives you the skill, what it does, power and all that stuff, and then it gives you a full description of what it does.
I can't honestly remember. I remember reading it, and I remember not knowing that, and I remember playing with some people, and them always yelling at me, like, why didn't you go through the trees? And I was just like, what? And then they explained to me, you can spin through trees. And I was like, holy shit. Had I known this when I first started playing the game, this would have changed life.
Money Talks has a good point, too, where, by the way, hey, Mark,
What up?
where the community finds things in games sometimes, a lot of times, all the time,
Yeah,
I should
yeah.
say.
Things that were not
The developer
necessarily
had
planned.
absolutely no idea that was there. But
And that's what happens, especially in fighting games too, and not even glitches, just weird things.
You're never getting that lacrosse game, man. It's
dude, I
never
would have
happening.
played that. I would have played the shit out of that.
The lacrosse game?
Yeah, just because it would have existed.
But
Let me jump in here. Neil, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of developers have always said, it was like, in a week of us releasing our game, we get so much more playtesting than a year of our playtesters playing a game. And you have to realize that, you have, like, let's say 30 playtesters, they're going to play nonstop for 3 to 4 months. It's still not going to compare to the week
Millions
of
of-
millions of
yeah.
people playing the
I
game.
understand that, and again, I'm not talking anything to that extent. I am just saying that a lot of these, and almost most of these competitive games that you go online and play right now, or go anywhere and play right now, have no evolution for the player.
And it's honestly, it's been a minute. I think they've gathered enough data.
League
where
has
they
been
can
around
do
for
something.
50,000 years now. They could have a better learning curve system than just tutorial. Now you're on your own.
So you're saying that if I wanted to play Garen on League of Legends, that
Which
this is
luckily is the
tutorial-
character for the tutorial.
Is he?
Yes, he is the
Really?
tutorial character.
Wow.
Okay, I literally just pulled that out of my head. I had no idea. But let's say I want to play Garen. That let's say, all right.
That's
so,
the other thing. The tutorial does not have all the characters in the game. You can't say I'm interested in playing this
Yeah,
character and there's a
because
tutorial.
There's a million characters. What do you expect them
what
to
I'm
do?
yes, they could make a tutorial for each character.
That would be.
Well, I mean,
Here's-
all right.
and I was
Have you,
gonna
have
get-
you guys
No, but again, fighting games have
have you played
training
Evolve?
for each character.
Have you played Evolve?
Yes.
Evolve has a little tutorial video when you pick a new class,
Right.
And it goes through
But
what they
there's
do.
4 classes and 2 monsters.
No, but each even though there's 4 classes, there's like
There's
3
three
players
different-
for each
and they're-
class,
they're
and
all
each of them are different.
Yeah.
And I do like that. But here's the thing, and I was going to talk about this with the developers. Imagine how much money it would cost for them to spend time and money, for them to devote a tutorial for each character, each god in the MOBA. All right, now imagine that time they spent on that. They may get a few new people playing the game because they've already got new people flooding in. Like
Yes.
now, all of those competitive players in that time that they didn't make a new skin, make a new god, make a new character, make something new that the competitive players who are already at peak, which that's the majority of their audience, who are people who have been playing this game for a really long time. If they do something that would jeopardize their interest in the game, they lose money. They lose a shit ton of money.
This is just me spitballing ideas. My main idea, and that's something that would not do anything. It's a one time and they're done. Is to just install a hierarchy for gameplay, like a beginner level, intermediate, and advanced player level, for you to go in and select
Ranked games.
not even ranked games though. Like even if I'm playing in a casual game as a casual player, I'm in that casual game against people who are still playing it competitively. Everybody takes these games seriously who plays on that level, whether they're playing it in a casual game or whether they're playing in an actual ranked game or tournament.
Well, here's the thing though. I mean,
look at Hearthstone. You can select
here-
ranked or casual. And the play between the two is completely different. In casual, you'll run into people who are just goofing off, playing whatever decks. You have a little more fun. In ranked, it's people playing with their serious decks. They're playing serious. And Hearthstone took into account that abuse happens and waves players off. And what they did is made it so you can't berate the other player. There's just 6 little emotes. That's all you've got.
But here's the thing with Hearthstone, and why I don't feel like that's a good example. You can't tell if that person's playing or not for real. Like if they're playing competitive. That could be a new deck that they're trying out in that mode. Be quite honest, with a new deck, trying out in that mode is a bad idea.
But you can, when you're in ranked, you can tell the level of play and the difficulty of the deck is there.
I think in ranked you see more of the same decks. That's the difference between that and like unranked in Hearthstone. And while that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that should be status quo. And the reason being is because if you're and the whole point I was going to get back to, you were saying where like people play competitively, like even in like casual and unranked games, it's still a sport. It's still a game where the end result is for me to win. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do things that would make me win. Like it's if I feel as a player, if you're going to play a game like League of Legends or Smite or any MOBA or Dota or fucking Heroes of the Storm, and your goal is not to win, you're playing the wrong game.
At the same time, still sticking with Hearthstone, they have a full tutorial lounge for every single character class with beginner bots and intermediate bots. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
like
so does League of Legends and Smite. They have bot games that you can make for yourself.
But the bot games, you're still on a team with other people.
No, you can play by yourself with a team of bots against another team of bots. Like the problem with that is it's not good enough to get you ready for a game with other people. You can play that all day. It is not going to get you. The first game you play, I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, unless you play with like the best players on your team, you're probably still going to lose.
It's because the AI is limited.
Exactly.
The AI is only programmed to do what
it's never coming, man. You give up on that game.
Have anticipated.
And that's why I feel like it's better placed the responsibility on the community. I'm not saying that what the community has done with most of these games has been perfect and 100% spot on, but I feel like that's where it needs to be, not on the developer.
The problem is the community has too many people who would rather see new players not exist.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that most people don't want to see new players exist. I feel at this point...
Nobody wants to be dragged down by the new player.
Right, that's the thing. Nobody wants to be dragged down by the new player.
And
they don't have a problem with
rather than them helping the new player, they would rather bash, berate, and try to run the new player out of town.
The good thing
This is the Wild West.
The good thing to that is I think that there are more sheriffs now than there used to be. I will say that if we had this conversation like 2 or 3 years ago, yeah, it was scary.
Wild West.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
Now, like it's nothing for me to go into a random server in Smite and somebody's like, "Oh, I've been really thinking about playing this person." I'm like, "Oh yeah, man. You look at my build throughout the match and then try that." Like
was that person a new player or new to the character?
They may be new to the character, but I mean, that's just. I mean, we're still talking about new because at that point, if I'm playing by myself, all the people are going to be playing level 30. There's no new person that's going to be in the game.
Yeah,
like that doesn't happen. So, and that's the other thing. I think that they've tried their best to make a system where you don't get paired with like.
See, I disagree though. Like, yes. They figured their best way was to have their paired system where it just goes level to level pairing. But I don't think that they took into account people helping other people when they designed that system and what that would do to that system. Like I honestly believe at least that they designed that system so, you know, to expect it to be a team full of level 10 or lower players and they'd get paired against another team full of level 10 or lower players and everybody on the same skill level. But when Joe wants to help me out and teach me how to play, because Joe's being a nice guy and helping me how to play,
Nice guy,
the ODST team of trolls and I want to kill this guy appears, and we all get berated and destroyed.
When I stream Smite, there's a group of streamers. If you haven't seen like the online page, like or offline page of those group of faces of people that are on there, usually I'm playing Smite with those guys. I'm gonna start, I guess, dropping some names just to get like their levels. But Corridor's level like 19 or 20.
How dare he?
Muffin, I think she's 30.
Good for her.
Dalty, I don't think Maris, I think is like around 12 or 16, somewhere around there.
Fucking.
I'm level 30, have been 30 since beta. Like, I've been playing that game for a very, very,
And this
very,
is why
very
he's
long
on the
time.
pro side of the couch.
Exactly, because I'm a pro. But when we play games, the what happens, I feel, is first it takes into account that we're all in a party. So
Yeah.
we're not just a random group of people. So we're probably able to talk to each other.
We hope it takes that into account.
It does. It definitely does. Because you'll
And in all honesty, from what I've heard from you, I haven't played Smite myself, but from what I've heard from you about Smite, they have learned a lot from the League of Legends and
fighting
made
game
some adjustments. But unfortunately, Smite is still like a tier 2 competitive game. I mean, it's climbing up there, but it's not.
How many out of how many tiers?
Probably like 17,000.
17,000.
I don't know. Some people would argue that it's more popular than Heroes of the Storm.
And I would probably agree that it is, just because it's been around longer at the same time.
Well, that and Heroes. The thing is, when Smite first jumped on the scene, it was big. Like it's only gone up. I've seen Heroes of the Storm drop.
I will say, as somebody who doesn't play the games, I hear more about Smite than Heroes of the Storm. So that says something.
It's really sad.
I would think.
You would think Blizzard would.
Just to get the opposite end of the spectrum's opinion, David, how is console competitive gaming?
That's true. And this is more in the realm of like first person shooters, because that's
all
that's
console
console.
Pretty much all
really
around.
is.
I
So
mean, we just now got Smite, so hope maybe it'll change up. But
I heard people on console with Smite, so
that
There
is
you
true.
go. See, community bashing, right here.
It's
from
really
the pro.
rough, but the thing I've learned is if you want to get into a game, if you want to get good at it, you're gonna do the research. You're gonna
Put
go
the time in.
online,
Right.
and you're gonna go for it. You're not gonna be an idiot and just say
But
Smite.
what were you telling me earlier today
Smite.
about the
Smite.
experience of players in
But
Destiny?
the thing is, it's like, okay, I play
Taking
a
your
lot of
sword.
Destiny, and Destiny is a rather popular game at the moment. And you have the new DLC.
It is an MLG game.
I don't know about the MLG.
I think it's an MLG now, isn't it?
which game?
Destiny.
I don't think so.
Really?
No.
I thought it was.
No.
Yeah,
I
I
know
don't think so
the
either, but I don't
newest
know.
addition to that for shooters was Evolve, because Evolve
that's
just did
cool.
their series like not too
Okay.
long ago.
So, but yeah, I was talking to Neil earlier. I was saying, is like every time we go and do a raid or we do something, and someone comes like, oh, well, I don't have this weapon and I've never done this raid. If you guys would be really cool to walk me through it, and we're like, yeah, we'll walk you through it, and the party leader boots him. And
Wow.
and we find someone
Every
else.
time.
It happens every time. It's hilarious, but it's really bad because the new players just need help. But the thing
You're just
is,
getting nonstop
if
discouragement.
You're playing Destiny and you go online, you say, "Hey, look, tutorials for Crota's End or whatever." They're there. There are people in there all the time, 24 hours a day, that say, "Hey, I gotta do this. I'm really good at it. I've done it 10 million times. I can do it myself. Sit there and watch. Just come and join and learn how to play."
But remember, there are also there's two different major learning levels. There's the people who can watch and learn, and the people who have to do it to learn. So for the people who have to do something to learn, the hands-on learners, they can watch 1,000
still go into
YouTube
those
videos
forums and say, "Look, I need to learn," and they will send them invites and they will do all the stuff that Neil was saying. Destiny, you can't go to the Destiny title page and it'll say, "Oh, you're having trouble playing Destiny? Check out this website." You just gotta find the website yourself. But there are people that do it. I've done it a few times. I've gone to the forum and said, "Look, I'm running have an open."
But wouldn't it be nice if the developer had a better peer matching system for that, so that you'd be matched up with people who aren't going to boot
In
you?
the case of raids, there is no peer matching system. You have to find your own people.
Well,
Which-
I will say this,
And I wouldn't want to be paired with random people because you're doing a raid.
But
This
what-
is a
but
this
what
could
happens-
turn into a 4-hour thing or
Okay,
a 45-minute thing.
but everybody who enters that understands that. And what happens if you just don't have that group of people?
Then you can't do the raid.
You get wiped.
well, and
that's fair, and that's fair?
No, it's not. I mean, but you can't. You can't.
I paid my $60, but I can't get the same gaming experience as you because I don't have a crew of people who are willing to deal with the fact that I'm underleveled.
You don't have no friends.
Apparently, yeah, I know.
But like what I was getting at was back when I used to be really, really big in the Call of Duty scene. There is also a sense of like accomplishment that the game cannot make with as many tokens or level ups or fucking skins that I remember playing the first time before I even got picked up by like my first clan.
Successfully dragged this out to be a full episode.
Yeah, you did. I remember playing before I got picked up by my first clan, and I had just practiced. I had played the game nonstop in college, just played the game, and I had gotten decent on my own. I jumped into a random game, ended up being in like a game with like 3 people in a clan. They saw me play, they saw me wreck these kids, and they're like, "Yo, this guy's pretty decent. Let's see if he wants to join the clan." They talked to me. I was like, "All right, cool, yeah, I'll play." And they had their little trial thing, and I wrecked them. And like, there's a sense of satisfaction, or is that a word?
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Satisfaction. I'll put that on a shirt.
Joe's down home country satisfaction.
Good old South Carolina satisfaction. There's something awesome about that. Like you have trained yourself to the point that you were acknowledged by someone who is also good, to the point that you can now compete. Like, that's amazing. Like that is.
I agree with you, but not everybody has the capability to get to that level on their own.
But the argument comes to the person who is playing the game casually or does not have the time to devote to the game to get to that level, probably won't get to that level.
Bubbles, David?
What? Okay. I don't think that person is not. They may either A, not have the drive to do it, or B, quite honestly and sadly, they may not be able to do it. They may not have the time to devote to it because it is a very time-consuming thing.
Or the learning capacity.
Or the learning capacity.
There's that too.
And as much as
there's always that.
Yeah.
We don't want retards playing Destiny or Halo.
But the problem is, in modern times, that is what a lot of parents do to take the retards and get them out of their hair, is put them on a game.
Why you say retards, man?
Because he said retards.
Just put them in. Just put them in.
That's why I did the air quotes, because I was quoting him.
why
It
you
was
say
him.
retards?
David said it. I was quoting him. His quote. David hates retards.
Anyway, the point is, I want to remind everybody at home to vote.
Yes, if you're in the chat right now and you haven't voted, I'm gonna hit you with the sword.
Vote for Noobs
through the PC or
this
whatever
world was made
device
by
you have.
noobs.
The thing that you need to type is up there. I don't know if you can.
No, because remember the MLG is going to cover up the sword.
Okay, there we go. All right, it's to this.
I thought you were the pro.
Type in that after the colon. That's what.
That's for pros.
That's
you
for
can
pros.
type in the other one.
You can
for
type in the other
noobs.
one. God damn it!
All right.
Victory!
So we're gonna go ahead and go into closing arguments.
If you want to be competitive, it is going to take work. Some of that work is you going out and learning on your own. The game developers don't have the money, time, or honestly, personally, my opinion, the need to have to teach you and spoon feed you how to learn advanced strategies in a competitive game. If you want to be good, if you want to be playing at advanced level, work, do it. Like, go and find out the information yourself. Like, the information is there. It exists. If you don't have the drive to go learn it, that's on you. Like, that you can't blame the developers for your lack of, I guess, fervor to, like, play the game on a
I will
level.
say the developers probably do have the
I was gonna
money
say,
and
that was
time,
making
I don't think they do, to be quite
but
honest.
they don't have the need. I will agree with that.
saying
I
Riot
own it.
doesn't have money is hilarious.
But the thing is, yeah, they make money, but imagine how much money they spend. Like, yeah, these companies make a shit ton of money.
It's all relative.
Yeah, they don't. I honestly
Okay,
don't feel like those
they-
companies make as much money as people
okay.
think they do.
This is how business works.
We can find out.
They're all more than likely incorporated, which means they all have investors, which means they all have to fulfill certain investment goals. There is no way that companies not bringing in large stacks of cash and staying in business if they have investors.
I
So
understand that.
they have large stacks of cash.
They do, but they have to use those large stacks of cash.
No, those turn into profits because that's how they pay the investors.
But they have to do something to turn it into profit. They have to You think that it'd get the large stacks of cash and then it just grows and then
No, it keeps reciprocating because they keep releasing new skins that take,
yeah, the people that make the skins, they have to pay those people.
Yeah,
Last
you
year,
realize how
you know
easy-
how much money Riot made?
How much did they make?
$624 million.
That's great. How much did they spend?
No, that's after making money. Is
That
after cost.
you don't know
That's
that.
profit.
It always lists
they
profit
also they
online.
also didn't specify profit.
Exactly.
But
That's the same thing with the
it
case
is
of like
actually it is poised to first to break 1 billion in microtransaction revenues. Also,
Hold
I
on, hold on.
understand that. That is
So-
revenue. That is not
Hold
profit.
on.
Like I hate that. I hate because it's the same question when people start talking about yeah, this game shipped 10 million copies. I was like, that doesn't mean shit. They didn't sell anything.
It can be misleading.
Yeah.
It's not the final number,
Yeah.
but regardless, that's still an impressive. That's
is an
going to be an
impressive
impressive
number,
amount.
but
even after all their
Think
bills
of
are
how-
paid,
Think of how big. But that's the thing. You don't know if they're how much. You don't know how much their bills cost.
no, we don't.
Think
We
about how
don't.
much staff they have. Think about how much the man hours that they have to pay all of the staff to work. And then on top of that, whatever their building like things are, like if they have any ad revenues that they have to pay, there is a lot of money that developers have
And
to
I didn't
spend.
mean to jump in. 'Cause
I
I'm the
know.
moderator, but if they don't have the money or the time, they're doing it wrong. That's all.
to like have
Because
a community
in
like,
2013 they had 1,000 employees, so they've definitely got the time.
no,
Not necessarily.
They-
with just 1,000 employees,
Right.
I don't know what it is like to
I mean,
Vote
the,
people
the,
run
the game is
that
made.
kind of a business.
vote. Mark,
Vote.
did you vote?
Yeah, vote
Yeah,
people
yeah,
voted,
yeah,
Mark.
you
and
done with your-
refresh.
you done with your argument?
Huh?
You done with your argument?
That's the end of my argument. That's my side. I just feel like if you want to be
Operating profit is what is left after. I'm well aware what operating profit is, Mark.
You said net operating.
net operator, okay.
Yeah, I'm aware. I run P&Ls every month. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? I do run a profitable business, so I'm very aware.
Mark is
argument.
really smart.
I know. All right.
We love you, Mark.
Again, I am not coming in here saying that the developers need to overhaul the universe. I'm not coming in here saying the community needs to overhaul the universe. And I'm not coming in here saying that in order to play a game, you need to spend, you need to study like you're in college to get a degree in Smite before you can play it competitively.
It helps.
None of those, but none of those things should be required of a player, especially because these things are supposed to appeal to casual players as well. Even though they are competitive games, every game should still have a casual environment.
Especially if you want to make money.
Exactly. So,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I know, right? Jeez, rude.
You interrupted mine too, don't we?
No, he
I
interrupted.
I
He
interrupted.
interrupted. I
All right,
waited
well-
for someone else. I was
All
going to
right,
wait.
well,
till
then
the
I'm not
beginning
by
of mine.
myself then.
But what I'm saying is these developers need to take the time to evaluate the learning curve of their game. And while I'm saying don't dismantle the learning curve, don't make your game easy to operate, because that does take away the appeal and the skill level required to play the game competitively. But think of how to better the experience for that casual or that new player to help them get to that next level where they can deal with the trolls, where they can actually learn how to acclimate themselves better to what it takes to play the game, to win the game.
Accessible resources.
Like, there is a large amount that is required by the player. And I agree the player needs to take accountability on their own and find resources and do that if they want to get themselves to that second tier, to be that A tier or S tier. But if you just want to be happy in B and C, there should be a way for you to get there
C for casual.
by yourself. Exactly.
I feel as though if you want to be in C, that would be like saying
You
I
are the
want.
worst lawyer ever.
How am I the worst lawyer ever?
Because you're not supposed to interrupt people's closing arguments.
Well, I thought you were finished.
Well,
No.
Okay.
He interrupted again and then you jumped on.
I thought you were done.
I'm supplementing, man.
But and again, as far as the community is concerned, the community as a whole, I don't think the whole community is bad.
Thank you.
It's
JCW.
not. They're a great community, and there are plenty of people out there who want to help. I just think the community needs to come together and create a resource to help train people if the developer isn't going to step in, and if the player themselves don't have the ability to learn just by reading or watching a video, because there are plenty of people in our society that cannot learn that way. So it takes everybody working together to make a game successful where casual players can play in it and actually enjoy their time. But isn't that the reason all of us play games to begin with?
Not necessarily. Like here's my only rebuttal to that is
A rebuttal to a closing
Yep.
argument. Jesus
Man,
Christ.
This is chaos.
You've not taken a single law class.
Anarchy. If you want to, that would be the equivalent of somebody saying, "All right, we're going to make a baseball team, but we don't ever want to win. We just want to play."
There are teams that are like that, though. There are plenty of teams that are like that.
But you're telling me their end game is they don't want to win.
No.
You're telling me that's not why they're there.
No, they probably
but there are
just don't
people who
put a
play
lot
for-
of importance.
There are people
in-
who play for casual, and actually in little leagues now, all over the country, there's no longer an emphasis on winning the game.
Yeah, I know. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother argument.
And this is why the children of this generation suck.
But all right, everybody, vote
Everybody
pro,
wins.
vote no. Let's get the final votes tallied up and find out who won this argument.
We'll give what, like 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3 minutes
Yeah,
is
3
fair.
minutes is cool.
3 minutes.
3
All
minutes.
right, 3 minutes on the clock. Go. All right, anybody in the chat want to make some points while waiting on the votes to come in?
Mr.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from you guys.
JCW MVP for pro. Thank you.
I'm the only
Appreciate
person who
it.
voted for pro.
Yep. Well,
Other than you.
apparently there's 2 other people. I didn't vote.
Oh, you vote? Come on. Every candidate votes for themselves. Come on. You might be the guy who makes it 50-50.
He voted himself.
I always vote for myself.
So did you guys hear about the new stuff for Halo that was announced this week?
No, what was it announced for Halo?
Well, if you guys read the
Marlins.
books,
I agree, Mark. The Marlins do not play to win.
no,
guys.
but if you guys have read the books for Halo, there's a lot of characters that you don't see that are behind the scenes. And in Halo
Creepers.
5, they're actually going to introduce some of the Spartans from the original team that was with the Master Chief.
The
That's
Creepers?
awesome.
Training, and it's going to focus around him and his team, and it's really it's not going to be like Reach, because Reach is like this random whole other set of Spartans. This is like his teammates from like when he was 6 years old.
How much
And
time's
I
on the
think
clock, Dave?
That's amazing. So I'm really excited.
I'm really excited about E3 in general.
Yeah,
E3 is going to be a good
Oh.
time.
There's some
we have some
fun
coverage?
little announcements. Yeah, we're gonna do some companion broadcasting of E3. So if you want to watch E3 and want to have that up on Twitch, I'm not telling you not to go watch it from Twitch. They're gonna have a great coverage. Go watch that. Do it. But if you want to watch it with us and just kind of chill, hang out, have a great night. Monday we're gonna be doing that. Tuesday we're gonna be doing that. I would like to do it on Sunday night, just because I'm really curious about what Bethesda's gonna show off. Because
That'd be cool.
yeah,
But,
Bethesda's on Sunday?
they're doing
Yeah,
theirs
a
on
lot of
Sunday.
PC stuff's
Sunday,
on
like,
Thursday, Sunday.
4 days from now or Sunday at the end of the week?
This,
Like,
4 days
Sunday
from now. Yeah.
4 days from now. Yeah, like literally. Yeah.
So we're not going to have a prono next week, right? Is that
No,
what you were
there is
saying?
no ProNo show
Yeah.
next week. However, we're gonna start doing a really awesome thing with the ProNo show after that.
Now, are we going to wait? So we're going to take next week off for prono, and then we're going to
Launch.
put together the stuff
Yep.
on the podcast.
ProNo
on
2.0.
Saturday.
Right.
No,
Prono
no. It's not 2.0. It's
It's like
we're-
news night, but it's better.
Well, to let you guys know, since you're here and you're waiting for this thing to finish, basically what we're going to do is we as G Cubed and the people in the chat on the podcast, our weekly podcast on Saturdays, the week
Right.
after this week, we are going to sit down and everybody on the show that week and everybody in the chat, we're going to put a list together of, say, the 20 best games of all time.
Right.
And then we're going to put the names all in a hat, shuffle them up, and we're going to start a tournament, a single elimination tournament, and it's just going to be random, like Halo versus StarCraft. Whatever names
But
get pulled out versus
in
each
debate
other.
format.
Right.
Yes, and basically, it's each week the ProNo show is going to fight a different one of those matches.
Right. And until we have a winner, and then we'll probably give away a copy of that game to the winner.
That would be amazing.
So yeah, we'll see who that who gets.
So this
what
is going to
games
be
are
this is
worth
going to carry the ProNo show for probably the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've been thinking about a little bit since we've been started this show. I wanted to kind of make it a little bit more tweaked so that like it's more so of like Call of Duty versus Halo, or like maybe Call of Duty versus Battlefield.
But
Like,
at some
similar-
point in
similar
time, though,
genres.
you're going to have
Maybe
to
at the
cross
finals.
genre.
The finals would probably be hilarious.
I just want it to be random the whole way.
That'd be crazy.
How would
No.
How could you compare that?
tell a game of all time if you're only doing a category of first-person shooters?
Well, what I'm saying is you have different categories. At the end of the category, every category has their winner, and then
Yeah.
Then why bother waiting till the end? Why not just do it from the start? Have full chaos. It'll be more fun.
that'd be crazy.
Well-
Because You would be comparing.
We will figure that out.
Yeah, we'll
Is
Super
Mario
it is
World
now
Halo.
time to
That'd
refresh?
be there are plenty of points you
and
can argue in that arena
see
and make people
who
vote.
won. Okay, so
The
Noobs-
winner yet again.
Noobs have won this debate.
This is my first loss.
This is actually it was close. You know, there was
Simple.
some.
And if we don't
Up and
count
down.
Squirtle last week, I'm undefeated.
Oh man,
Now, Squirtle definitely counts.
yeah.
Damn it,
counts.
Squirtle.
We all take the L.
All right. Well, does anybody else have anything to say?
No.
For all you guys,
see you
in the
guys
chat, again,
Saturday night.
Awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. You guys are super special.
Hit the
awesome.
like button if you haven't already.
That follow
Yep.
and like on Facebook. Why not?
All those things.
All that
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
all
right.
That, all that
Social
stuff.
media.
Yep.
All right.
Um,
Well, you guys have a good night, and we won't see you next week, but we'll see you at the week after.
We'll see you on
you
Saturday.
next week. We won't see you for ProNo next week.
Right.
For Pro.